Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but f your feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched.
We recently posted a video showing how Bill Maher, yes, the well-known liberal, called out Kamala Harris, someone he once supported, but what we didn't cover was the full story behind his change of heart. Why did he turn on her? And why did he suddenly have something positive to say about Trump? If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Let's jump into what really happened.
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no finger.
Harris would make history as the first woman, first black woman, and first Asian American president. But I don't vote based on milestones. I vote based on who can actually win. And for some reason, Harris has never connected with voters. In fact, during the 2020 primaries, she earned so few delegates, you could count them on one hand. If that hand had no fingers.
In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. Sometimes life isn't fair. It's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact, was put in charge of the border. And look at how... Okay, bad example.
One big reason Bill Maher couldn't. Support Kamala Harris? She just wasn't popular, not even within her own party. Still, her team pushed hard, bringing in celebrities like Mindy Kaling, Meghan Markle, and Lizzo to try to boost her image. They set up influencer videos, cooking clips, and even had her dancing, thinking that would win people over. But Maher wasn't fooled. He joked that voters don't care about dance moves. Some blamed her unpopularity on limited campaign time, but Maher saw deeper issues. He felt Democratic policies, like forcing electric cars and going easy on crime, just didn't sit well with everyday voters. And beyond all that, he questioned whether Harris was truly up to the job.
What I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem.
Beyond her lack of popularity, Kamala Harris also drew criticism from Bill Maher for what he saw as poor leadership, especially on the border crisis. And honestly, it's hard to disagree. She was given a major responsibility, and instead of facing it directly, she stayed distant. When she finally visited the border, after months of public pressure, it seemed more like a photo op than real action. Her approach? Vague speeches about root causes, and brief diplomatic visits where she simply told migrants, do not come. For many, it didn't feel like leadership. It felt like avoidance.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occurred.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build somewhere.
As illegal border crossings rose and cities struggled, many started to question if Kamala Harris really understood the issue. She rarely gave straight answers, and when she did speak, it felt unclear and unfocused. Instead of dealing with the crisis directly, she kept her distance. Her few comments sounded more like rehearsed lines than real solutions. This wasn't just a policy failure. It showed what leadership under Harris might look like. And it left many, including Bill Maher, unimpressed. He also called her out for being dishonest. Even CNN aired a report challenging her claims, adding more fuel to the fire.
Shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Kamala spent 100 days telling voters, I know it feels like crime and illegal immigration are bad, but feelings. Look at this chart. Have you seen my "In this house we believe" lawn sign? See, it says right on it, we believe in science. Right, which is why you demanded no one even debate whether COVID could have escaped from the one lab in the one city where they were studying it. How far-fetched!
Kamala Harris was once totally against Trump's border wall. Back in 2019, she called it a waste of money and even voted against it in the Senate. Her stance was loud and clear. But by 2023, the Biden administration quietly approved new wall construction in Texas. Suddenly, that strong opposition didn't. Seems so solid. When Harris was asked about the flip-flop, she denied it. In an interview, Anderson Cooper pointed out the administration was building more wall, but she insisted, no, we're not. Cooper had to remind her that Homeland Security had already confirmed it. That moment, caught denying something easily, proven, was classic Harris, and people noticed, including Bill Maher. One more reason he turned on her: outdated policies that just didn't connect with voters.
I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
The left started pushing some truly absurd policies, so out there that even Bill Maher had to question them. One big issue: biological men and women's sports, which undermined female athletes' hard work. Speak out and you were called a bigot. Then there was the irony of LGBTQ+ activists supporting Palestine, a group that doesn't support them in return. Lastly, Maher couldn't stand Kamala's word salad, always dodging questions with vague answers. Check this out.
Kamala Harris run for California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading. I'm going to give that a big no. Yeah.
Several times. She should run far, far away.
Yeah, I think Kamala Harris would make a great president of a university.
The final reason Bill Maher took aim at Kamala Harris? Her infamous word salad. Whenever she was backed into a corner, whether about policy, leadership, or even geography, she'd ramble like a glitchy AI. It was like waiting for a magic 8-ball to give you a straight answer. Imagine Kamala as president giving a big speech on the world stage, and no one understanding a word. Diplomats would exchange confused looks, while our enemies, like Putin and she, would be laughing at the mess. If she couldn't handle simple questions, how would she handle a real crisis? Spoiler, she'd just word salad her way through it, and world leaders would see it as a joke.
All I know is that nobody voted for Kamala. They just said, okay, you're it. They did this in 2016. Bernie Sanders, he was the guy that got all the votes in the primary. Like, we just give it to Hillary. And in 2020, just everybody drop out, just give it to Biden. And then this year, it's like, everybody figured it out. His brain doesn't work. Let's just get Kamala. You know? Here's what you have. You have somebody that nobody voted for, and you got somebody they tried to murder 2 times. I don't know which one's probably going to hold up democracy.
Sadly for Kamala Harris, even Bill Maher doesn't think she's fit to run for anything, not even California governor. He roasted her, saying if she couldn't handle the VP role, just showing up, there's no way she could fix California's problems, like rising crime and homelessness. Ma, a lifelong Californian, knows the state needs real leadership, not someone who talks in circles. Comedian Rob Schneider also chimed in, saying no one voted for Kamala in the primaries. She was just handed the job. Take a listen.
She's better. No, let me tell you, Kamala, she does different accents, depending on where she is, down south. Let me tell you something. You boys better get it together here and vote. Save democracy. Black community, she's like, shit, let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you right now, we ain't vote for Trump, I even saw her at a 7-Eleven going like, listen, it's very important that we vote for the Democrats. We're trying to save democracy here. We're trying to save democracy.
Let's be real. Nobody actually voted for Kamala Harris. She didn't rise to power through public support. She was handpicked by the Democratic establishment. Rob Schneider was spot on calling her unfit to run a democracy. She can barely string a sentence together, let alone lead a country. On the other side, you have Donald Trump, chosen by millions of voters. He didn't just win the primaries, he survived 2 assassination attempts, proving he's battle-tested. While Kamala stumbled through interviews, Trump was out energizing crowds, showing why he's still one of the most formidable political forces in America.
Democrats still seem confused as to why they lost this election. They want to think it has something to do with misogyny or racism. Well, let me clear it up for those still bewildered Democrats. You lost because you tried to tell the American people that the economy was great when they couldn't afford to buy groceries. You lost because you ran a moron in place of a president you knew was a corpse attached to a car battery.
Rob Schneider doesn't just think Kamala Harris is unqualified, he believes she's too fake to be a credible leader. One of his main issues is her constantly changing accents. One moment, she has a southern drawl, the next, a forced urban dialect. It feels like bad acting, trying too hard to connect with different groups. Schneider criticizes her for being inauthentic, arguing that leadership requires sincerity. With Trump, whether you love or hate him, you know exactly who he is. Kamala, on the other hand, is all over the place. No wonder her approval ratings are low. Voters can sense when someone isn't real, and Kamala's constantly shifting personality makes it hard to trust her. If she can't stick to one genuine voice, how could she lead the country?
It's going back to where they tried to kill him. That's right. Well, hopefully they'll have better security this time. You know, the Secret Service, they knew about the guy 52 minutes beforehand. They have not released the audio from the body cam, and I don't think they ever will. But if they do, I bet it would sound something like this. You see that up there? What? Up there. He's got a gun. What do you think he wants? I don't know. It's not duck season. The woman that you're supporting, Kamala Harris, and her running mate Wall's paper, they said that the free speech, they describe it as a privilege. Now, this is either they're constitutionally ignorant or they're knowingly false, because it is a guaranteed First Amendment right for all Americans. It is not a privilege like a driver's license. When you are born in America, you have the right to speak your mind, and it isn't the nice stuff that needs protecting. It's the stuff that everybody disagrees with. And it's the stuff that maybe is not nice, but that needs to be protecting too, because if someone's going to decide what free speech that you say and what I say, if it's going to be the government, they're always going to do what's best for the government. So we need to protect all speech. What happened in L.A.? The chief of the fire department, she put this out on her website for the LA Fire Department. A gay man asked her, would you be able to carry my husband out in case of a fire? And she said, well, if I have to carry your husband out, he got himself in a bad spot. See, that's precisely the point why he needs to get rescued. You don't want a fireman coming over going, yeah, fire department's here. All right, hope you're not in a bad spot. You're dead.